is an asylum seeker and what benefits do they actually get arriving in the UK? An asylum seeker is a person who's applied to be recognised as a refugee under the United Nations Refugee Convention. You have to have fled your country because you're being persecuted because of your race, religion, nationality, social group, gender, sexuality or political opinion. And you can't live safely in any part of your own country because of this persecution. You don't have to claim asylum in the first country you flee to. Being granted asylum means being granted protection by a new country and becoming a refugee. To claim asylum in the UK, a person must be in the UK and unable to go back to their own country because of fear of persecution. You can't apply for asylum from outside the UK, and there's no visa that allows people to travel to the UK to claim asylum. Well, that means that if you can't get a visa for other purposes like tourism or study, there aren't many safe routes to get here if you are being persecuted. There are a few other options, resettlement programs and ad hoc humanitarian routes, but these are usually very specific for families of refugees or for recognised refugees already in camps. Under these schemes, Britain offered sanctuary to some Ukrainians, Afghans and Syrians. While you're waiting for a decision on your asylum claim, you can ask for somewhere to live, but you can't choose where to live. You can also get a cash allowance of £49.18 for food, clothing and toiletries per week. If the accommodation given to you provides meals, that allowance goes down to £8.86 per week. A British citizen who's over 21 and on the national minimum wage would take home roughly £458 a week. Asylum seekers are also generally banned from working in the UK. They can apply for permission to work if they've been waiting for a year for a decision and aren't responsible for the delay. But this is only to do jobs on the government's immigration salary list.
They end up in these appalling hotels. They're dispersed all around the country into areas where there is already serious poverty and deprivation, and they're in limbo for years. And the ones I work with say, look, we just want to contribute to this society.
According to the Migration Observatory, the cost of operating the UK's asylum system reached around £4 billion in the financial year of 2022-23. In the same year, the government spent around £211 billion on health, £55 billion on defence, £105 billion on education and £141 billion on pensions. The cost of the asylum seeker system is also partly higher because of the backlog in processing applications. 83,000 claims were waiting for an initial decision as of April this year. People who are granted asylum have permission to stay in the UK for a minimum of 5 years. They can work with no restrictions, which means they pay tax and can claim benefits. After 5 years, they can apply to settle in the UK. So what is an asylum seeker and what benefits do they actually